Hello and hi, hello. Welcome back to the channel and the Facebook group. Today, in this video, I'm going to try to explain GPIO, General Purpose and Input and Output Pins. General Purpose Input and Output Pins, the numbering schemes, and a quick little setup that I do when I was using the breadboard. So let's go straight to it. Okay, so here we are. Here is our general purpose input and output pins, the numbering schemes. There's two. There's BCM and the physical pins. When you do a configuration, you have to tell the program which numbering system you're going to use. We'll do that when we start doing the configuration, how we do that. But as I say, two configurations. We got BCM. Okay, BCM. They are what we got on here. I don't know if you can see it. This is like the extension cable. Oh, bear with me. My lights have just gone out. Well, my screen just went dead. There we are. That's the BCM numbering system. We won't be using that this often. I've got that wrong. We won't be using this that often. Okay, but that's the BCM numbering system. This goes into your GPIO pins, the end of the ribbon, and then this goes on to the motherboard, plugs into the motherboard. We are going to be using the physical pins, the board pins, and as you can see, they're numbered in twos. If we look at the middle row, the physical pins, and starting on the left, 1, on the right 2, next left 3, 4, 5 on the left, 6 on the right, all the way down to 40. So there's 40 GPIO pins. Now, quick word of warning, if you look at number 1, 3.3 volts, this is what we plug into your Raspberry Pi. On the right, 2 and 4 are 5 volt outputs. Never plug your Raspberry Pi into those two outputs. So remember that warning, because you will get the magic smoke. Okay, so if we look at the numbering system, the ones with different colors, like number 3 and 5, they're dedicated outputs. They are dedicated outputs, and the same with 8 and 10. If we come down 24, 26, if my eyes are working for me. Yeah, the ones with the different colours are dedicated pins. The ones that we'll be using mostly are 3.3 volts ground. We will be using the 5 volt because some of our components need a 5 volt power supply. Then we've got the grounds, which are the greys, and then we've got the GPIOs. What colour do you call that? Is that like a turquoise? Most of them are turquoise. Okay, such as 11, 13, 15, 29, 31, 33, 35, 37. And on the other side we got I think 12, 16, 18, 20 is a ground, 22. But the ones that are turquoise are the GPIO pins we're going to be using. So that's the GPIO numbering system. Quick overview. if you are going to use the BCM, the extension cable, you will have to change your configurations accordingly. Right? Now, if you want to, I would download this schematic. If you go onto Google, put GPIO pinouts, this will come up, and just keep it handy. Just keep it handy. Although you will get used to the pinouts as you start using your Raspberry Pi. Now, just a quick tip on how, if you are using the Raspberry Pi with a breadboard, how to set it up. So let me just go across. Now, here we have the Raspberry Pi. This is the Raspberry Pi 3B. And what I've done, I've orientated it the same as the schematic. And we got the breadboard. This is a breadboard. Now, the breadboard is laid out as I'm going to explain now. At the top and at the bottom, you've got these rows. Top and bottom, you've got these rows. Now, the top row is a minus, stands for ground. The next row is a plus, and that stands for live. All right? And then at the bottom row, you've got a minus, ground, plus live. All of these pin holes on this row are connected, and all of the pins in the plus row, the live row, are connected. All right, same with at the bottom, plus connected, minus connected. Now the pins in the middle, you've got 5 pins holes at the top, a trench, and then 5 pin holes at the bottom. These 5 columns are connected. Trench. These 5 are connected. The 10 across the trench are not connected. All right? So 5 connected, 5 connected. Right the way along. Okay, there's 100 columns on the plus and minus rows. It doesn't matter how many rows going across, they are not connected. They are not connected this way, they are only connected this way. Okay, there and there. Now, when I'm using the Raspberry Pi with a breadboard, we quickly run out of 3.3 volt and ground rails, ground pins on the Raspberry Pi. Let's just go back again, let's just quickly count them. 1, 2, 3.3 volts. That's on row 1, and what's the other row? 17. Right, and we've got a few more grounds. We got one on row 9, one on row 25, one on row 39, and on the other side we've got a ground on 6, a ground on 14, a ground on 20, 30 and 34, looks like to me. But we've only, we've got a few grounds, but we've only got 2 3.3 volts. Now to increase that, because sometimes you might have 4 or 5 components that need 3.3 volts. So what I do, I get, let me go to this view, make life easier. I get a red male to female, and I go from pin 1. which is the top left hand side. Pin 1. Let me just make sure I've got it on the right one. I go from pin 1. I then go to my top row of plus, the red line, and I put the male end into that row. This is making this row live. Right? Making this row live. I then go from pin 6 with a black male to female, male to female. Go to the right hand row. Let's look again. And I go from the ground on pin 6. Third row on the right. Okay, so let's go back. So female end onto pin number 6. Yep, I'm on pin number 6, and the male end goes into the minus, the blue row, into that pin. Okay, so what that's doing, that's making your plus row all live. That's 50 live outputs, and you got 50 on the minus row ground outputs. Now then what I do, because you might have you don't want to get a scrambled egg of cables. Let me turn this round. So now, remembering that our rows, our plus and minus, are now, plus is now live, minus is now ground. I take two male to male cables. Let's see if we can get this male to male. Can you see that? I go from the red, the plus on this side, which is live, and I put it on the plus on the other side, crossing it over, making this second row alive. Right? I then take a black male to male. I go from the blue, the minus row, take it across and put it into the minus row on the other side of the breadboard, thus making these all grounds. So now I've got 100 3.3 lives and I've got 100 grounds. The advantage of this is you'll find that if you are using a breadboard and with your Raspberry Pi, you're going to be having components, say 4 components, right? You can use shorter cables and go to the live, the 3.3 and grounds on these rows. Yeah, making your life a lot easier. So you'll be installing the components and you've got plenty of live or 3.3 volt and grounds. Right, should we just quickly recap? Your numbering systems have got BCM and the physical pins, 1 to 40, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, odds on the left, evens on the right all the way down, and we've got some dedicated pins and plenty of GPIO, general purpose input and output pins. Great. Right, if you've got any questions, hopefully I've covered it, the basics, but if you have got any questions, please put them in the comments. Next time I think we'll be looking at filing systems, or how file systems on the Raspberry Pi work. Very similar in Windows 11, but on the Raspberry Pi it's slightly different, because you can create directories, files, folders in the command line. I'm not going to be showing that because it's easier to do it in the GUI, the graphic user interface on your Raspberry Pi. Till then, thanks a lot. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.